Becoming a full-time carer at a young age is not what many expect, but it's the reality for our next guests.
Joining us are family carers Megan O'Hara and Scott Rumgay, alongside Catherine Cox from Family Carers Ireland. And thank you all so much for being here today. We really do appreciate it.
Really do.
Megan, can we start with you? You are a carer for your father. So how did that happen?
So my dad had a heart attack, and it's overnight, completely overnight. He actually didn't even know he was having the heart attack. You know, typical man. He was a carpenter his whole life. Very strong. Luckily for us, we're very lucky to have him. But yeah, everything just kind of built up after that. So after the heart attack, it was, Raynaud's. We got.
He has Raynaud's.
Raynaud's, yes.
What does that mean for him?
Circulation in the hands. That's any outdoor work gone. That's his livelihood gone. Diabetes, just a snowball of different things. So that's kind of how that came about, yeah.
And when did you make the decision then that you would become the carer?
I suppose...
And how did that come about?
Yeah, I suppose we've seen his condition kind of deteriorate slightly. It was a no-brainer, really. My mother has mobility issues,
right.
so she...
So that was out?
So that was out, yeah. So she had a hip replacement and she's due another one. And my sister's only 16.
Right.
So it wasn't even really a discussion, to be honest.
It wasn't even a discussion, but it is certainly your life. And your dad is a young man.
He is.
So we'll get into that in a second, because Scott, your situation, it's slightly different in that you became the carer for your mother in May of this year.
Yeah.
And it's you and your mum.
Yeah, primarily just me and my mum.
So what happened there?
Well, in March, she was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, and she had surgery. She went through all of the therapies and things of this nature. And then when I finished college, my PLC course in May, I became her full-time carer.
You're 22?
22.
You're 22 years old and your mum's full-time carer.
So any aspirations you had to continue on with your career and whatever
it had to be put on pause,
has been
for
put
now,
on pause now.
Yeah.
How is your mum?
She's good. She's good now. She's finished all her treatment now, thank God. So everything is going well. Everything's going according to plan.
I mean, see, when people sort of say, oh, we have to stand up, like you just said, it was a no-brainer, we had to do it. But then, what is the reality like then to be that carer full-time, to actually take on that responsibility?
There's no handbook. So every day is a learning day. I suppose we both have our own routines, and then we have to mesh our routines together. Any other job, you're given a handbook, you're given an induction, you have a manager, you have a supervisor, you have someone to turn to if you're stuck. You kind of have to figure this as you go, or really, really try and seek out the help. And
then there's obviously like little problems crop up every day that you haven't had before.
Absolutely, and it's trial and error then with those sort of things.
I would imagine that psychologically, for your dad, for your mum, it must be very hard to go, OK, now my child is looking after me. Was that an issue,
It's almost
Scott?
like a complete role reversal.
Yeah.
For my mum's whole life, she was my primary carer.
Yeah.
And now the tables have turned completely. But it's a blessing for me, it's as a son, it's an honour, to be able to do something like that for my mum.
That's so lovely for you to say that. And do you know the way some people might be sort of saying, this is not fair that you have to do this, and maybe rally against it? Your mum's not like that. She's accepting that she needs the care, and that she knows that the love and support is there from you.
Yeah.
How is it being, your dad, he was a carpenter, big strong man.
Oh yeah.
How was it him taking on, going, my daughter is now my carer?
Oh, we're both like two bulls, so we are, in a sense, in the best way possible. I mean, we understand each other. I will say it's hard looking at, like you said, a big strong man, your dad, and his condition changing, but he's still the same man. At the end of the day, he still has that energy about him. He's still, and I think there is a huge adjustment, but we make it work.
There is carers are something that come up. They're mentioned all the time, but especially around the time of the budget, Catherine. We talk about carers, the means testing and the allowance. The allowance is €260 a week. It is means tested. It changes if you're caring for more than one person. This is what you're on. Your mother has mobility issues.
Yes.
What's that like?
Look, I suppose emotionally and mental health-wise, I do have the support there with my mum and my sister and that sort of a thing. But physically,
There must be financial issues.
and yeah, we actually lost our house, our family home. So yeah.
Why? Why? Because of what was going on?
Yeah.
You had to sell it?
When was this, Megan?
About a month ago.
Because of the financial difficulties of everything that's happened.
Yeah.
You had to sell.
Family home of 23 years.
And where are you now?
Luckily, my Auntie Louise and my Uncle Jerry took us in. So we're very lucky. Look, we're very lucky. We are very lucky, and we count our lucky stars every single day. We do. There's people in such worse conditions, way worse conditions. Do you know? So I'm just a crier.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But that must have been for the four of you.
Oh, yeah.
It must be so incredibly hard.
But we're so lucky. We're such a strong family unit. Such a strong unit, and we only came closer together.
But this is a reality, Catherine. This is the reality for carers in Ireland. We've spoken to you before about carers who are saving the government. We're talking hundreds of millions by taking on these roles. And of course, they're your loved ones. But the financial struggle and the pressure and the psychological issue, Megan's family have lost their home.
Absolutely. And we know carers save the state €20 billion every single year, €20 billion, providing 19 million hours of care every week in their own homes. Yet, most of them don't get carers allowance, in fact, because, as you said, it's a means-tested payment. Now, there's a commitment in the government to abolish the means test for carers allowance. We need to see that happen immediately. They've made some progress towards it, but we need to see it happen. But we also need a fair and adequate income for carers. €260.
Nobody should have to lose their home because of an illness. And
absolutely. We should be wrapping our arms around Megan's family. We should be looking at this family and saying, what can we do to help you? How can we support you to care safely for your dad? How can we support your family? And yes,
family carers, people watching in this morning, what kind of services can you help with people who are carers?
So for us, Family Carers Ireland, look, our motto is no one should have to care alone. The reality is thousands are. But what we do is we cannot take away a diagnosis, we cannot take away an illness, but we can support family carers through them. And the earlier a carer comes to Family Carers Ireland, the better. We can provide training on how to lift, move a person from bed to bath. We can provide training on if somebody is choking, how do you prevent that? We can provide counselling, emotional support for family carers. We can provide advocacy, a listening ear. We lobby government. We have an emergency respite scheme where we can go in when a carer reaches burnout. Now, it's limited because of the funding that we get. So, you know, we're constantly...
What funding do you get?
So we get different funding, mostly through HSE, Department of Health. It's not enough. For one of the commitments in the programme for government is they will fully fund the carer guarantee. What the carer guarantee is, it means that every carer, regardless of where they live, will have access to supports and services in their community when they need them. They haven't fully funded that. We need to see that happen.
And let's be honest, there's a staffing issue as well, because there aren't enough carers in Ireland to help with respite, to help with coming in and home help. Scott, for you, you've started, this happened to your mother, it's been just a few months, right, that you're started this whole new life. And I think you were living on your mum's disability for a while until you got the carer's allowance.
Yeah.
What was...
In college, like, we got a training allowance, so that was very helpful during that time. But as soon as I finished college, I finished college in May, up until September, we had just €240 a week from disability coming into the house.
Both of you to live on.
For both of us to live on, like.
Your mum going through brain cancer?
Yeah, it took us months for the claim to go through. Months for the claim to process, for someone to read a piece of paper.
See, it's just, we had a minister here this morning, like, you just love them to be here and listen to cases like this. It's just, can I ask you then as well, like Scott and Megan, I mean, you're given so much, but then you have to look after yourselves as well. Like, and I see you're shaking your head, that's so important. What's your outlets? How do you sort of try and cope to get through it?
I'm lucky I have singing. So singing is my thing. My mum passed that down to me. It's the only thing really that gets me through. So singing, music, making sure that I'm really investing time into doing that.
To doing that, and,
Yes,
and yourself.
exactly.
Scott?
My faith, in fairness, I'm a Catholic, so I put a lot of my faith in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that helps me a lot, you know. It just assures me that no matter how bad things get, as long as I keep focused on Him and keep focused on doing the best that I can for the people I love, then we will get through it. Like,
It's beautiful that you both have that. I'd just like to ask if you could say one thing, because we're coming into the winter months. We also know there are 300,000 households in arrear when it comes to energy. We know that you've lost your home, Megan, and that there's 2 of you in the house. It's cold. Things are going outside. If there's something that you could say to the government, Scott, when it comes to carers, what would it be?
I could say, just from in my case, speeding up the claims process is definitely necessary. And even completely abolishing the means test would make that a lot easier for the government to be able to do. Because if it's not means tested, they don't need to go.
There's no red tape
stringently
there,
going through it. So
Megan?
that's major.
Something small, just set up some sort of a register, something so that people can see the resources there and then when they become a carer, so that they don't have to seek it out. Something that can just, I got an email this morning, I'm now a carer, I can go ahead and I can go to these different places, or I can, I have something there to go to.
Because it's just you're flying blind.
Oh, you're
You're flying blind. Catherine, if people want to get in touch with you, because I know there'll be so many people around the country who may not be aware that you can offer something to them, how do they get in touch?
So they can go onto our website, FamilyCarers.ie, or they can call our Freephone Careline, 1-800 24 07 24. And can I just say, we have our Lidl Carer of the Year Awards later on today. And this wonderful young man is one of our young carers that's going to be there. And so look, it's about that recognition.
Genuinely, thanks so much.
It's recognising every one of the 500,000 family carers right across the country who are doing what they do out of love, but they're not getting the support they need, and we need to change that.
Both of you are an absolute inspiration. You really are.
20 billion
Appreciate
is what you're doing for the government, and it's for your families, and you love them. And thank you so much. Megan, thank you so much. Love to your parents, to your sister, and to your
Thanks
mum
very
as
much.
well, Scott. Thank you
God
so
bless.
much for coming in,
Thank you
Catherine
so
Cox
much.
Thanks so
from
much.
Family
Thank you.
Carers. Thank you so much.